Now let's discuss some of the footprinting methods available to us that we can use to gather some of this information we've been talking about. Your first method is probably the most common, and it's probably what you'll start with first, and that's the search engine. Now you can use your favorite search engine, whether that's Google, Yahoo, Bing, whatever. As a matter of fact, it's probably a good idea to use multiple search engines simply because each one may return different results in a different order. And the reason you want to do search engines first is generically you're just looking for general information on a target. If it's a person, obviously you're doing a name search on that person. If it's a company, you're doing a company name search. Maybe you're searching also on their products. And those search results will get you pointed in the right direction to other sites. Now, obviously, you may go to the company or organizational website or personal website next. And the public website's fairly easy to get to. And what you may want to do is peruse that site when you have the time, or download the entire site using some of the software that's available to do that. There's software that you can download that will grab entire websites and bring them down to your computer, and it'll download the structure and reconstruct it for you in a folder. It'll download all the links, the pictures, the content, everything. So you can look at that and examine it later. You also may want to look at the source code for the websites so that you can tell if there's any security issues possibly within the source code itself. We'll discuss that a little bit later as well. Another site you may want to look at are partner sites, and these are sites that may belong to market partners of the organization that you're looking at, and they may have information about their partner company that you can't find in other places. They also may have reviews of products, and in your internet searching you may find product reviews for products that this company creates, so you can get even more information about them. Internal and intranet sites are good if you can get to them, and usually the only way you can do that is to be on the inside of the network, and you're not at that stage yet. However, there are some external public websites that aren't constructed from a secure point of view, and it is possible to get from a public website to an internal website. This doesn't happen much, but it is possible where there are organizations that put both their internal and external websites on the same server. They don't separate them out. They don't secure them. So it is possible, but it doesn't happen very often. Now, the next thing you might look at is email. And we're going to go through some of this a little bit more in depth as we go through the course. But email is one way you can get information about the organization's personnel, its server infrastructure, and the route it takes to get from sender to recipient. And I'm not talking about invading someone's email and reading it, although you could do that at some point later on in the attack. For now, I'm talking about just the email headers. And there are tools that you can use to send emails to an individual on the inside of the company, and you can use that to track where the email travels through the internet and into their company servers. So you could examine the email headers, maybe examine read receipts and so forth to get information about their internal structure, their internal IP address ranges, and so forth. There's email search tools available to you that we'll discuss, and you can use these tools again to track email. Another method is Google hacking, and Google hacking is the topic of an entire chapter coming up that we'll discuss. And basically you use search directives, advanced search directives, and the Google hacking database to get information, particular information about an organization's infrastructure. We also have Whois and DNS methods, and basically Whois is a registrar that gives us domain information, who the contact information is in the company, the IP address range, and so forth. DNS footprinting will give you information about the company's name server structure, internal and external DNSs, domain information, IP addresses, and so forth. You might also get information about their internal servers and how their structure is on the inside of the network. Social media is another great source, and this involves, in some cases, watching the social media accounts like blogs, Facebook, LinkedIn, personal sites, and so forth that belong to the organization's employees. And you can get a lot of information about the organization or the individual through social media. People will put all kinds of things on social media without really thinking about it sometimes, a lot of things they shouldn't. So it's a great source for footprinting an organization or a target. Social engineering is another method, of course, that involves direct contact with the individuals that may work in an organization or are associated with it. This could be casual meetings in bars. It could be targeted contacts, like maybe you pretend to be a salesperson and make a sales call appointment with that target. But you can use social engineering methods that we'll discuss a little bit later to try to get information out of the individual, maybe about future products that are coming up, maybe about the network infrastructure, security policies, and so forth. Other sources of information may include partners and competitors, obviously, or also suppliers. And there's a wide variety of ways you can get this information by examining the documents and websites from those other sources, using social engineering with those other sources, and so forth. So again, the whole point is to get information about your target, whether that's the organization, the person, network infrastructure, whatever. And you can use these methods, and we'll go through a lot of them in depth as we go through this part of the course and explain how you would actually use these methods to gather information about your target.